Hello everybody, so Maniac Guy here. Alright, well here I am with the 1860 Army, all taken apart. These black powder firearms, if you want to call them firearms, these black powder sidearms are definitely a chore to clean. It gives you a whole appreciation for the people that would have had to do this back in the day as a normal part of survival, really, of warfare or hunting or whatever they might have done. So anyway, upon reflection after putting the videos together and as my son was doing the editing, we came to the conclusion that perhaps it would be better to do kind of a part two, so to say, of the first video. So let's consider this as the part two video, and very shortly we'll have the intro and all that stuff leading into this one. So real quick before we get to that, just kind of unofficially, I'm in my workshop down in the basement of the house, and what I have here are just pardon the shakiness, I'm doing my own camera work for this one. What I have here are just the basic components, the parts of the firearm. Got the right here we're looking at the actual the nipples that have been pulled off, and there we go. So we've got all just the different pieces. They were pulled out of the cylinder, and this is the wedge pin that I was talking about that you pull out to separate everything. And a couple of just key points to mention real quick while we're talking about doing the cleaning. This video is going to be on reloading and cleaning. So one really important thing to remember as we're getting into this, and here's some of the stuff I've got laid out right here on my workbench. So really quick as we're getting into this, you do not, somebody once said, whenever you're using old school products, if it's, you know, old 1800s era stuff, you're better not to use synthetic things with it. Same thing goes when you're using, you know, leather or anything like that. If it's an older product, you're better to use a natural product to maintain it. And even though this is a newer replica, the same rules apply. So you never want to use a synthetic oil with your black powder. Even if you're using like a Pyrex or a black powder substitute, it gums it up and it makes the whole process work just terrible. And what you want to do instead of a synthetic oil is you want to get yourself into something like this. And I can tell you Thompson Center bore butter is something that I've been using. I've actually been muzzle loading since, well, let's say over 20 years. Probably actually closer to 25 years I've been muzzle loading. And yeah, I've always used the bore butter. There's a traditional, and this is the... This here is the fresh pine scent, as you can see, and it's all natural. I mean, this is all natural. There's nothing synthetic or processed in this. It's all just natural stuff. So it's actually kind of always makes my skin feel good when I'm working on it. Same thing. I use a lot of Thompson Center products, and this is the Thompson Center bore cleaner. And as you can see, all natural, non-petroleum. I mean, that's the rule of thumb. You really want to go with that. I even get the Thompson Center pre-soaked patches for cleaning. So very important to remember that. Anybody that's thinking about getting into this, if you're somebody that's already into it, well, hopefully that's a lesson that you already know. And if not, then, well, I'm sorry. So here we go. So yeah, I've actually got this as my wrench that I use to pull the nipples from the cylinder. It's just a ratcheting wrench that you use to just back those out because they thread right in there. What else do we have here? Got a 44 caliber brush, and I've got this that I just dropped the whole cylinder right in there. I back the nipples out, and I put the whole cylinder right in there and let it soak before I clean it all out. Another thing that you're going to find comes in really handy other than a rod to put down your barrel, and I use this wooden rod with a brass tip on it to get the really snug fit for my patches afterwards. This is for the brush there, the brass brush. And toothbrush, you'll find works really good. Love using these. This one, again, I don't use this on my regular firearms, just my black powder, because I don't want to get any petroleum-based product on this and then get it in these little crevices on my muzzle loader, any of my muzzle loaders. So yeah, this is dedicated. But toothbrush, yeah, get yourself a good inexpensive toothbrush, works great. Also pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners work great for getting down inside of all these little places. And just some nice cheap pipe cleaners are worth their weight in gold during this process. So those are some tips, some quick pointers that I have for cleaning your 1860 Army Pietta, or really any black powder firearm as far as that goes. We likely will be doing some more black powder videos at some point in the future. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. And all right, well, stay tuned. You're about to get another quick introduction and then the loading. We actually did the whole loading video we had done previously with the intention of adding it to the video number 1 for the 1860 Army. Just as I say, we determined that probably wasn't the best way to go, and we would do this as a whole separate thing for anyone that was interested to kind of get into the meat potatoes of the reloading and the cleaning of this black powder firearm. So, which I should say that black powder weaponry is actually not considered firearms. I call it a firearm because, you know, you pull the trigger and it goes bang and it sends things down range. But by the definition of the law, anything that's black powder is not considered a firearm. There's no waiting period for anybody that doesn't know that. There's no background checks or anything like that. You just go down to your local store, wherever that may be, and just buy it right there and then with no checks or anything, because they aren't considered firearms. And I won't get into all the legalities of that, but feel free to cross-reference that and Google search me if you don't believe it. But that is the reality, at least here in the U.S. So anyway, all right. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the rest of the video on loading. All right, take care. Bye.